If only, right? And to be clear, I'm not talking about trolls. Trolls are people, that at least makes sense to me. I get enjoyment out of pissing you off. That is fun for me. I mean, I think you're a dick, but I get it. Right? Like, I understand the cause effect. Doing thing makes me happy. Okay. It's the people who are just pissed constantly and pissed at stuff that they supposedly love. So that's the type of thing that we're going to talk about today. So up next, I would like each of my panelists, who we're just going to go right down the line, to introduce themselves and discuss their areas of expertise. No, you.
Oh, I go first. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. B.
Hi, Dr. B.
You have to understand, growing up as a Simpsons fan, how much of a lifelong dream it was to have people legit do that for me.
Okay, guys. Do it again.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Dr. B.
Oh my God, that's amazing. So I'm a doctor of clinical psychology. I'm also the clinical director of TakeThis.org. We are the ones who... Mental health! So if you don't know about Take This, I'm happy to talk about it at length at the drop of a hat. But we run the AFK room, room 251. Wow, we do not let screaming in the AFK room. It is quiet, it is boring, come by. We have pillows. So I am here to basically talk about some of the psychological aspects about why people do what they do. And one thing I want to be really, really clear about, I am not going to tell you why you do things because there's no one answer about why people do things. I will give you information on tendencies, averages, and that sort of thing. So if somebody says to me, but there's an exception, yeah, I know that. All right? I'm aware. So, yeah, thanks.
Clap for him, goddammit.
Hi there, I'm Kyle Orland. I'm the senior gaming editor at Ars Technica. I also host Game Show Night with Susan, Price is Right, tonight, 8:30 right here, 8 o'clock actually. I've been writing about games since I was 14 years old when I started a Super Mario Brothers fan site that kind of grew a little big, and then I decided there's nothing I'd rather do. Criticize game journalism a lot, a little less these days, but a lot. Writing snarky blog posts about things that I see in the game journalism world that are a little bit too ethically suspect, a little bit too corporate sometimes, and I think that might be why I've been asked on this panel. And yeah, happy to be here.
Well, I guarantee none of you guys know who I am. So my name is John Phipps. I'm actually a co-host on Superform Gamescast on YouTube. Again, which none of you guys probably know what it is. It's pretty small. But Susan asked me on the panel because I'm what you consider kind of a bro gamer. I spent 5 years in the U.S. Marine Corps, saw a lot of combat. I've still got a lot of buddies who are in. And I like my shooters, I like my first-person shooters, I like my third-person shooters. But on Twitter, I also try to promote good behavior among people like me. And, you know, as I think bro gamers or people who are like, you know, alpha males, there's this mentality that, you know, you can't be inclusive, you can't champion diversity, and I think that's wrong. I think that's incorrect, and so I try to set a good example for everybody. And I don't want to call myself like a Twitter policeman, but if I do see bad behavior,
No, you're totally a Twitter cop. You are.
I am, yeah. But I feel like if nobody's doing it, somebody has to do it, and it might as well be me. So here I am.
Yeah, brother was also injured in service, so give it up for him again, please. Dr. B is here to address the psychological reasons why some of this stuff might be happening. Kyle is here to discuss the responsibility of the media, the role the media plays in this, and then John is here to represent the community. So that's why I asked these particular gentlemen to join me. A quick piece of housekeeping. If you appreciate the AFK room at all, we are currently running a Kickstarter so that we can keep doing it. Information is available either in the AFK room or our booth at the Diversity Lounge. Yeah, I'm totally taking advantage of your attention right now to beg for money, but if we don't get enough, we can't keep doing it. So please donate if you can. Okay!
There are many arcade pins. One of them is designed by Gabe himself.
It's true. Yeah. It's really pretty. No, it's really pretty. Okay, so the idea for this panel came to me. Hands up if you're familiar with a game called No Man's Sky. Yeah. So, for those of you who maybe aren't aware, there was a game called No Man's Sky. It was made by a very small studio called Hello Games. It was published by Sony. It was supposed to be one thing, and then it came out and it was not that thing. And people lost their damn minds about it. Huge backlash and a lot of anger and invective, which led Daniel Cook, who is the creative officer of Spry Fox, to post this comment on a forum. And this is where the hatred is the hobby idea came from. And that really struck me because that's really what it is. These people are really enjoying being a mad throng and saying horrible, horrible things. And that doesn't make any sense to me. I get being disappointed, sure, of course. I get feeling like you've been tricked. Yeah, you spent $60 or more on a limited edition and you don't feel like you got what you paid for, like it was a bait and switch. I get that. But the kind of stuff we saw was, apologies if there are any younglings in the room, this was the nicest I could find. Fuck you, Sean Murray, you no good dirtbag criminal. Fuck you, Hello Games. Eat shit and die, you lying pieces of shit. This guy's good. He should be a cult leader because he got between 200,000 and 500,000 $60 pre-orders for a game where the first 1 hour is literally the same as the last. Just change the name to One Man's Lie. Okay, points for being clever. That was pretty good. It was pretty good. I have a limited edition pre-order. I'll be canceling it, and Hello Games will never get a single cent from me, so fuck you, Sean Murray. I'm getting a theme here, and fuck you, Hello Games. I didn't think you could make me not want this game, but congrats, you succeeded. Seriously, this is the gentle version of some of the stuff they received immediately after the release of this game. Now, lest you think I'm just targeting the gaming community, this is a cake.
That's also a challenge.
It is, and that was the point of the post. Okay, so a lady wanted to know, she went on a particular forum and said, hey, I would really like to make this cake for my nephew for his birthday. Could you give me some tips, because it looks really complicated. This devolved quickly into, well, I don't even know how we got here, but it turned political, and then there were, you're the dummy, stupid bitch, and then it went to here, and only a Republican would invoke politics at the first sign of what? Well, this is... I just want to know how to make a cake, man! Just Google cake recipe fight, and you should find it's magical. The journey is just amazing. Okay, so the first question, and this is more for Dr. B, is, well, how the hell did we get here? How did we get to a point where people feel comfortable saying things like, I hope you die?
Marijuana? I don't know. Actually, I'll tell you, living in Washington State's been a lot more mellow for the last 2 years. Everybody's got an opinion on that subject. But no, this is nothing new. Anybody here from the UK? Okay, so we can talk about them all we want. No, that's, in and of itself, that is an example of this. But as far back as the 14th century, when King Edward II outlawed soccer, because we have the right name for it, USA. No, they outlawed soccer because it encouraged civil disorder, disobedience, because people support their teams. We as people have a tendency to create our our groups, the us versus them all the time. And let me give you a great example. In the 1950s, before we discovered ethics in psychology, there were some great experiments read, we could never do them again, done in the 1950s. But this one in particular, where a couple of researchers went around to very, very affluent suburban communities, and they said, "Sir, madam, we are scientists. May we have your sons?" And they were like, "Sure, have our sons." And they took the sons away to a summer camp for, I think, about 6 weeks. And they matched all of the sons for like height, weight, IQ, hair color, eye color. They were essentially, aside from being Hitler Youth, they were homogenized as much as they could be. And what they did was they separated them into two groups. And the two groups didn't know about each other. One was the Eagles, one was the Bears. 3 weeks into the summer camp program, they met for the first time. And people being people, despite the fact that they were exactly the same in pretty much every way, screw those guys because they're not us. That's how we are as people. We create in-groups and out-groups, and we have a tendency to view the out-groups as, well, they're all kind of the same. We're not. We're us. We're okay. But if people deviate from that in any way, shape, or form, peer influence becomes, I mean, this is, honestly, I could have a 3-hour workshop on this, but what it comes down to is peer influence, us versus them, and cognitive dissonance, and attribution biases, and all sorts of things. But yeah, when you've got people
I'm
around
going to need you to dumb down that
yeah,
language for me.
sorry, scroll. Yeah, what it comes down to is when you see the people around you doing a thing, you're more likely to do a thing. So when you throw in the internet, where you're also dissociated from the effects of your actions, if you scream at Susan, there is a decent chance she is not a person to you. She is an avatar on the internet. She is a person to me. I can see the effects. You cannot. So it makes you more likely to scream at the avatar on the screen. With what, 25,000 followers? Like,
No.
whatever. No,
16.
you're popular. Shut up, you're popular.
People
So anyway,
they just want to see pictures of my dog. Let's be honest.
the point is, it's complicated, and there's really no one answer, but we tend to create our tribes, and we dislike the people from outside of our tribes.
All right, so in the case of Hello Games, we see people saying, "Fuck you, Sean Murray. I hope you and your family die." Is the lack of any apparent consequence
Huge.
also part of what would
Huge.
encourage me to?
Huge.
Now I'm gonna go further.
Absolutely huge. When people don't see the consequences of their actions, they tend to behave more poorly. There was another study done in the 70s that involved Halloween candy that proved exactly this. People tended to cheat the honor system when there were no consequences. Actually, at one point, there was like 70% cheating rate when there was no consequences. It's ridiculous.
And these are not, just to be clear, we're not talking about damaged, dysfunctional.
No, we're not talking about evil people. We're talking about people being people. Okay? This is just people.
And more than that, as far as no consequences is concerned, I find that some of these people, when they're streaming online, if people even talk back or argue back, they consider that too much of a consequence. They say, if you're arguing against them, they take it as a personal affront. Like, how can you possibly disagree with me? And even that level of pushback is too much online.
Sometimes, I mean, peer influence is huge. If you've got people you care about are saying, dude, too much, you tend to listen to that more than, authority figures saying that. If it's your peers, it tends to be more influential. It's just.
But sometimes I see people digging in more.
That too. I mean, that's why I'm saying it's complicated. There's no one reason.
Well, honestly, Dr. B, I mean, one thing I've noticed in some of my interactions with individuals on Twitter, can everybody hear me, by the way? I find that a lot of people who do stuff like this online aren't actually, they're not hateful people in and of, like if you were to meet, like if Sean Murray were to meet one of these people on the street, they'd be completely polite, they'd be awesome to him. I feel like it's not so much the person or the individual that these people are hating, it's that they are addicted to the very nature of hating something.
In some cases that can be true, but, when people, oh God, what's a good example? Oh God, okay, the experiments done in the 1950s, again, where the shocking experiments, where, okay, who's familiar with this?
Whoa, okay.
Oh my goodness, who did some psych studying in undergrad? Hello. Yeah, what's up? So for those of you who aren't familiar with it, you had some people in a white lab coat who said, hey, shock this person that you can't see. And even don't stop. And more often than not, they took it to lethal levels. These were just ordinary people.
Well, okay, they didn't actually kill anybody.
No, it was fake.
clarify
It was
that.
fake. It was fake. But some of the people ended up damaged. I mean, they ended up having PTSD from this.
And they had the simulated screaming through
Absolutely.
the walls.
Absolutely. And they'd take it to the point that the screaming would then stop. And they were ordered to keep doing it. And more people than not just kept going.
So that's more an appeal to authority, I think, I found.
Oh, you're talking nerdy to me.
Does that apply online, do you think? Because your group encourages you to...
Yeah, you see, but when social reality kind of diminishes, when we're unsure of what to do, we look for cues in around us. And that can be one of the things. So when we see people, it's not necessarily an authority thing. When we see people who are behaving this way, then, oh yeah, I can do that too. It's mob mentality. Let's get the pitchforks. Just electronic.
It almost sounds like you're describing some kind of a hive mind, in essence, right? Like, I mean, that's
We are more.
With the internet.
Yeah, I mean, that's really...
In a lot of respects, I mean, we're more malleable than most of us want to give ourselves credit for. I mean, I'm no exception. I mean,
But to John's point, like, everybody's going to have the thing that pisses them off, and maybe they end up behaving more egregiously than they normally would. High cancellation of Firefly.
Susan, that's too soon.
it is always too soon.
But there are absolutely people, certainly within our community, the greater nerd community, who just seem to want to be angry all the time, and the target just keeps changing. So what the heck is that about?
Well,
Like, why can't they just be like, no, bro, you know what? I'm not going to get mad at people who like PlayStation today. I'm good.
Well, you know, Susan, there are individuals on YouTube, and I'm not going to name any names, but there are people who, like, that's their business, and they don't actually really feel this way themselves. There are some YouTubers I know of, and I know this because I know people, I know people who talk to these people. There's one guy, he throws up hatred every day on YouTube, on Twitter, his fans eat it up. But at the same time, behind the scenes, this guy feels trapped because he's at the point where his fans, he's got like 30,000 subs on YouTube. People expect this of him now. And he's afraid that he feels trapped. He wants to go legit. He wants to get interviews with game devs, but he can't now.
Right.
And so he feels he's caught in between a rock and a hard place. This is all an act for him. Like, he doesn't actually believe a word of this. He's a provocateur.
Oh.
But now he's got a terrible rap on YouTube because he says some of the most heinous things you could possibly imagine. But he's stuck now. Because if he stops his shtick, then he instantly loses all his subs. This is what people expect of him, right? So I find that interesting. That the guy himself is not a hateful guy at all. He just literally plays one on YouTube. That's literally what he does. And I don't get angry at these people. I pity them. You know, because
But what about his fans? What about that's
that's the real problem, in my opinion.
Yeah, like, why? What would it cause a person to just enjoy being pissed all the time and just choosing different things? This is what doesn't make sense to me.
Well, it makes people feel to basically differentiate yourself from the other. Like, let's take Firefly, for example. Okay? Who likes Firefly?
You better be fucking careful right now. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just whoa! Round coat for life, baby.
All right.
Okay, see, look at that. Look at that. The in-group, out-group right now. Passion. All right?
I'm just making a joke.
Hey, the Reapers playing their spears. But no, people want to feel special. People want to feel included. People want to feel accepted, and they will do a lot to achieve that. And especially in an echo chamber, they will go along with the herd. And it comes down to that.
Okay, so now we've established kind of. Maybe
It's complicated.
It's complicated, Facebook status. Let's talk about the role of the media. So,